Hey, welcome. We are here with Michael, who is going to tell us about the 8 hottest graphic design trends for 2022. I can't wait to hear this, Michael. It's going to be interesting. I have some thoughts of my own, but I'm going to see if they match up with what you got coming up.
Well, I'm sure you guys will have a link to the actual article, so please go check it out if you're, watching this video, because he goes a little bit more in depth with all of this. I'm going to kind of just go through them and give my hot take on them. But as always, design trends are ever evolving every single day, and they're not really bound by a calendar year, but every year, nonetheless, they're going to come out with, an article like this saying the 8 trends for 2022. And, it's a work in motion. And this article obviously was written towards the end of 2021. So take it with a grain of salt. But, and he goes through these a little bit more. Simplified Symbols is the first one. I mean, this has been happening for forever. So, is that something that's going to change, or is it going to be more or less in 2022? I don't know. I mean, even in a later one of these, the metaverse, which you'll see in 8, they're talking about how you still have to have your simplified designs, but you have to have them in 3D to get it into that new universe. So, logos are changing all the time, and the simpler, the better, in my opinion. And that's going to continue this year. No shocker there. Number 2, AntiDesign. Now, this was a fun one. And every time I read these articles, I do it because I learned something myself. And I have seen some anti-design where it just looks like someone designed it the wrong way, or has all this random stuff in there, and it looks a little bit wild. And you think somebody did something wrong, but no, it's on purpose, and it's kind of pushing back for all the rules that designers have about doing this, don't do that. It's like, well, it's design, it's art. There's no rules technically, and that's a great one. And,
Geez, that's almost like cool. That's almost like Andy Warhol going back to the why not just do Campbell's soup cans and call it art?
Exactly. You got to
break all the rules.
Yeah. And when you break all the rules, you never know. You might find something cool. So the next one on the list, number 3, 90s nostalgia. Now, 80s nostalgia, 70s nostalgia. There's tons of that. 90s seem like they were yesterday, but apparently are old enough now to be nostalgic. And you're seeing a lot of people incorporate or make stuff that looks like it was made in the 90s. To try to pull on your nostalgic heartstrings. So that's a good one. The 4th one, Yuki influence design, or a lot of people call it Japandy. It's just designing with like a Japanese style. And that's pretty hot right now, and definitely will give your stuff a different look and stand out from a crowd, especially here in America, where there's not a lot of Japanese influence in designs, and that could be a good one to look into. Next one, number 5, a more sophisticated eco vision. So, showing off that your brand is eco-conscious is nothing new, and it's not going to be, anything new for 2022. But on top of that, it's just making a very sophisticated design with showing off the fact that you are eco-conscious, just to rep your brand and associate your brand with those eco-conscious consumers and mindset, which everybody should be doing. And obviously, that we're very eco-conscious here at Foote Printing. Number 6, 3D and 2D mixed together, mashups. So, Photoshop and a lot of different design programs have had the 3D options inside of them for a long time, even though they are a little bit slow and clunky unless you have some supercomputer or you're doing a lot of work on video editing and stuff like that. But since those things have been straightened out, rectified, and a lot more people are trying to encompass 3D with 2D and create logos and different things and graphic pieces for printing with both of those to, get your senses going and hopefully stand out from the crowd. So that I definitely think is not very new, but one that you're going to see a lot more going on. So number 7, unlikely collaborations. So, this is one that bigger companies use a lot to get headlines and to get some free publicity. And you're going to see some of this going on. Honestly, when I looked at this one, I'm sitting there eating some Planters peanuts, and I realized that they were started a year before Foote Printing. And I thought, we'll just have the Planters guy holding up some printing product or something. Yeah, they might send me a cease and desist if I place something up there.
Yeah,
but I'm not trying
I bet so.
money on their logo. But it's a weird collaboration that's going to stick in someone's head and going to hopefully make them think of your brand or the other brand, and hopefully will help both brands both stick and be in the front of minds of the consumers that they're trying to reach. So I think that's a pretty good one. And then last but not least, the metaverse, whatever that is.
Yeah, nobody knows what's going on there, Michael.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do, obviously, if they're making it, and a lot of people are spending way too much money on land in the metaverse so they can live next to Snoop Dogg or whatever, or whether they're paying. Yeah, so when they put their virtual headsets on, that can be their neighbor. Who knows? Virtually hang out. And then also, along with that is kind of the big NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and people selling, a different version of a Bored Ape, 1,000 different versions of that for millions of dollars and stuff. And that's obviously going to keep continuing. Those, I think, are a lot of fun. And, some people wonder about those and say, why would someone spend money on that? What's the real value? And the actual answer I saw in an article the other day was they just have extra money and they want to spend it on something, and they want to be part of the NFT movement and have that little picture on their Twitter or Instagram or whatever. And it doesn't have to make sense to everybody, but there's people out there willing to spend money on it. So there's going to be designers out there doing weird stuff with design and more creative stuff, I should rather say. And that's going to be part of the design trends moving forward. And that's going to affect everything in design and spill over into printing and the rest.
Well, those are pretty 8 interesting things. Funny, when I think of the NFT and the non-fungible tokens and what does it all mean and why would somebody do that? Think back in the 70s, the pet rock. People spent money for a rock. If they just like things, so they're going to spend money. So why not? So, but hey, if you're a designer, maybe you're going to be working on something really groovy this year. Cool poster, a brochure or something. Be inspired by all these new trends and check out the information and maybe you'll find one particular trend you're liking and you may incorporate it in something. And remember, when you're done with that project and you're ready to get it printed, Foote Printing is a great place to do it. And you can see more videos just like this at footeprinting.com. That's Foote with an E. And Michael has always a bunch of fun stuff to share. And this was a good one, Michael. This was a couple of them I didn't hear anything about, but so I'm kind of inspired myself today. Good way to get the day started.
Good.